Hey everyone, this is Kirk here again at Option Alpha, and I am back from a longer than usual vacation that me and my wife took. And so I want to get this video update out right away. It's been a little bit crazy here the last couple of days, just getting back on the time change and everything, but rest assured everything else is going to be getting back up to speed here. I know I've been gone. I know a lot of you have been looking for me, and I've been trying to email as much as possible on the iPad while we were over in Europe. But back now. I did want to obviously share a couple pictures with you guys real quick. I know you probably don't want to see these, but I have to tell you it was one of the most amazing trips. This is the first time I've been over to Europe, and me and my wife had been wanting to do this for a long time now, ever since we were married way back now. And so it's something that we've been wanting to do, and what better time than now to take it. So this is just an awesome picture of the Cinque Terre area in Italy that we stayed in, and we kind of hiked along all these different villages. And then here's a picture of my wife and I at the Vatican in Rome, which was absolutely incredible. Those of you who've ever been there, it is much bigger than it looks here. Also got to have a good time in Barcelona. We spent a couple days there. My wife actually studied in Spain while she was in college, so she's really good in Spanish. I am not, which really helped out when we were in Barcelona. And then we also got to see a nice protest while we were in Paris, which of course I was ungodly excited about for some reason, seeing some sort of Greek Eurozone protest while we were there. Riot police everywhere. They were shooting off tear gas. I thought it was great. I've never seen one of these things, so I was naturally involved. My wife, on the other hand, took a little bit more of a backseat approach to this. But needless to say, we got to see it firsthand, and everything was actually fairly calm. A lot of people, tear gas and riot police, but nothing got out of hand, at least while we were there. And then, of course, we spent a couple days in Paris and ended up in London for the Olympics. So, fairly quick trip, but longer than usual. And now we're back in the States, and very glad to be back in the good old USA. So, okay, now let's get to some charts. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed some of those pictures, get to see what I've been up to. I know I've been emailing back and forth with a lot of people, pushed a lot of coachings back. I know I am jam packed with coachings for about the next 3 weeks. So, if you're thinking about doing it, you better get on the schedule now. As far as positions go, everything for July was beautiful. The market ended up great. Our credit spreads were great. August doesn't look like we might have anything for August because it's just not volatile enough. The VIX is so low right now, and it doesn't make any sense. So we're going to start adding September very early here and get into a good rhythm and a good cycle of adding early premium. I think where we're at in the markets after analyzing everything over the weekend is this, and this is my kind of take on it, is that we're definitely in a little bit of an overbought right now, but we're trending in the right direction. And I think that even though most of the indicators, I'm going to go over most of them here on the charts, even though most of the indicators actually show kind of an overbought reading, they aren't as overbought as they could have been in the past, right? We're not seeing spikes in the CCI, for example, way up here. We're not seeing those huge astronomical moves that would show that, okay, the top is really imminent and, it's coming right now. But what we're seeing is actually just modest strength in the market, and it's at a continued pace, and that's what we're seeing. We're not seeing it get too far stretched to show that it's going beyond its means, but it's at a nice steady pace, and you can see by the trend that we're forming that we're in a nice trend. I mean, we're continuing to move higher and just bouncing higher. So I think everything going well, at least with news from Europe, right? And no bad news is good news. Then I think we do start to get up really above 1425, 1420 on the S&P. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's definitely within this channel that we're trading, and we're starting to approach those recent highs from back in March and April of this year. So we definitely have some resistance levels to meet, but they're a little bit of a stretch away. So we could see the markets run a little bit here. Again, what I want to harp on is just the fact that I think we're in a fairly modest trend upward. You look at things like RSI and stochastics, nothing groundbreaking as far as how overbought it is. It's definitely at the top end of the range, but it's trending consistently on that level. Same thing with MACD. We look at MACD, and it's not way overbought by any stretch, but it's definitely in a nice little trend pattern. So until things break out of that, it's hard pressed to say that we're really overbought. In fact, we're probably in a pretty strong trend right now. Now, I would couple this with and kind of use it as a comparison, the time that we're in right now, where it's just kind of trending sideways, we're definitely above the zero barrier, so we're in a strong little market, to something like this, where it's just way, way, way overbought. See, that's what I mean, where the market just kind of goes really crazy upwards, and it just can't sustain that rate. Just too vertical of a move, and then it corrects on top of itself. But right now, we're in a pretty positive trend. It's a nice, about 45-degree angle, and we're just bouncing along higher. So I think in all, that actually makes for a really good trading opportunity. So we're going to start entering some trades this week for sure. It's going to be for September, absolutely. I think we're going to start off with a couple naked puts and get something below the market while we have this extra time on our hands. Like I said, the VIX is fairly low right now, so it's not helping us being down here way below 20 and even into the low to mid teens. That's definitely not helping us with premium, so what we want to do is compensate for that by going a little bit further out on the expiration cycle and taking a little bit more time to develop some profit. So that's the plan for now. As soon as we start to get a little bit more craziness in the VIX moving up to around 20 or so, we get a couple down days, then we'll start putting on some spreads that'll definitely swell the premiums up going forward. Another chart I want to take a look at here is USO. I think USO has been forming a pretty massive bottom, and if it plays out this week, we could see what looks to be a pretty giant cup and handle pattern, one that we've really never seen on USO, and actually is a pretty rare pattern. You can go into some of the video tutorials and I talk about the cup and handle pattern, but the main thing with the cup and handle is that it has to be followed by a huge decline. So we already have that. That's right, check, done. And the other thing with the cup and handle is that it has to have a pretty close cup to the bowl of the, or I'm sorry, close handle and pretty quick handle to the actual bowl of the cup. And it's got to be pretty strong. So this is what I would consider the cup or the bowl. And then right here is the actual handle. And you can see that we went almost completely around a total 180, right? We've come all the way up. It's been fairly symmetric, fairly even move. We had a little bit of resistance up here, which pushed us back, but we've regained that really quickly, right? It didn't take us all the way back down into the 30s to get that down. So the fact that we've regained this quickly and we're now reapproaching the highs on some strength, I think if we can definitely close above 35, this is going to be a solid cup and handle breakout. So that's something to watch for also. We might be selling some puts on USO. That's could be a possibly great trade here at around 30, even if you can get them below there. Or possibly even if you're feeling a little bit speculative, you can buy some call spreads on this, right? It might not be a good, or it might not be a bad trade at all. Okay, and then I think the last thing I wanted to end here with, if I can get this chart up, is the XLF. I think I had a lot of people ask me about financials and all the news about, the European banks are so bad that the American banks actually might be okay. I think that the financials have definitely taken their beating, and I just wanted to kind of harp on the fact that I don't think that this is in preparation of a huge move higher for financials. I think rather that we're seeing some consolidation before we possibly move lower. I think if you look at financials, it hasn't moved this way with the rest of the market in these last couple months. It's definitely died down, and I think that shows its weakness, right? We don't have MACD way above the zero barrier. It's kind of flirting with the zero barrier every day. So it's definitely much weaker than the overall market. Generally, financials should be a little bit stronger and should carry the market higher, but we just haven't seen that yet. There's a lot of overhead resistance to get through up here. A lot of overhead resistance all the way up to about 16 on the XLF. So it's definitely got its work cut out for it, right? It's got to move past this area in a strong manner and break above and hold this level to be really a great buy signal for financials. So I think if anything, wait for a pullback in financials down to around 14 or so, then you can start adding or at least selling some puts below the market. But right now, I wouldn't be buying financials, at least for the time being. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as always. I'll start to do these a little bit more frequent now that I'm back, obviously, and you should start seeing a lot more emails with trading alerts coming out your way. As always, hope you guys enjoy these, and please email me or message me if you have any questions.